Hi, I'm Antonia. This is Universally Me, the channel for all things Universal and classic horror. And today we are diving into a cult classic from the 80s that brought the horror hostess with the mostest to the silver screen. That's right, we are talking about Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. So grab your popcorn, put on your best gothic glam, and let's get spooky. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, hit theaters September 30th, 1988, and has since become a beloved staple of the horror comedy genre. And if you know anything about me, you know that that's my favorite genre. The film stars the iconic Cassandra Peterson as Elvira, a character that she created and famously portrayed for decades. And in fact, before we get into the movie, let's take a look at the fabulous lady behind the persona. Cassandra Peterson was born September 17, 1951 in Manhattan, Kansas. From a young age, she had a flair for the dramatic and a love of horror. I highly recommend that you read her autobiography, Cruelly Yours, Elvira, which I actually swear I didn't plan this at all. You can look at my other videos. It's always right there, but I have it literally right here. It is so good. It's so worth reading. It is so full of stories. Yes, we know her as Elvira, and that's kind of her biggest thing, but her life is chock full of amazing stories. She started as a dancer and a Vegas showgirl. She was in a Fellini film, a Bond movie. She went on dates with Robert De Niro and Elvis Presley. She is such a great example of a life well lived, and kind of that idea of if you just say yes to things or take chances or do things, things will happen. So I will link this in the description below. You should read it. Cassandra Peterson is also a legitimately trained actress, which I don't think she always gets credit for. She worked on her craft for years and even joined the famous Groundlings improv and sketch comedy troupe, which is no small feat. I'm pretty sure it was these skills that made Elvira the sensation she was. Elvira first appeared on television in 1981, where she would present B-horror movies with her signature wit and humor. I'm sure we all know the character by now. She would wear tight, black, low-cut dresses, big hair, tons of makeup, wit for days. Cassandra Peterson said that Elvira was somewhat inspired by herself as a teenager. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, follows our titular heroine as she quits her job at an LA TV station, hoping to start a live show in Las Vegas. Things take a turn, however, when she learns that she's inherited a mansion in the small town of Falwell, Massachusetts. What follows is a hilarious and spooky adventure as Elvira battles uptight townspeople, uncovers a hidden secret about her family, and, of course, shows off her unforgettable style and charisma. The cast includes Daniel Green as the hunky love interest, Bob Redding. He was actually named after Robert Redding, who was Cassandra Peterson's good friend, who passed away in 1986 and who had helped her create the iconic look of Elvira. In fact, he's also the dedication at the end of the film in loving memory of Robert Redding. The character of Bob Redding was meant to be sort of the male version of a blonde bimbo. W. Morgan Shepherd played the nefarious Vincent Talbot, who was almost played by Vincent Price, but he ended up passing because the movie was a little too racy. Edie McClurg plays one of the uptight townspeople who is, trying to get Elvira out. And I just have to say that Edie McClurg is one of the most nostalgic faces for me. She was in hundreds of movies that I loved as a kid. And in fact, Edie McClurg and I think 5 or 6 other actors in the film were all castmates of Cassandra Peterson's at the Groundlings. Elvira was almost a sitcom instead of a movie, but Cassandra Peterson had her heart set on the big screen. NBC was producing. She initially wanted Tim Burton to direct after seeing his work on Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but Tim Burton was already committed to Beetlejuice. So instead, James Signorelli signed on, who didn't have a ton of film credits, but he had done a ton of SNL's commercial parodies. Overall, everyone had a pretty good time filming the movie, but there was one on-set diva, the dog Binny. Binny had a tough time hitting her marks. She attacked an actor when she was supposed to just be performing it for a scene, and there were scenes that had to be dubbed over to mute the commands of her trainer. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark is a movie that perfectly captures the essence of its star. It is bold, hilarious, unapologetic. It is full of innuendos and physical comedy and witty jokes and honestly also stupid jokes. Elvira has some killer one-liners, she takes no bull, and it seems like she always is having fun. And in fact, from you guys, I want to hear in the comments your favorite one-liners from the movie. And let's not forget her show-stopping Vegas number at the end of the movie. No matter how long I go in between viewings of this, when maybe parts of the movie can get a little fuzzy in my brain, this final number is crystal clear, locked in up here. The movie only has a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes, so with general audiences, it's kind of hit or miss. But with horror audiences, or particularly classic horror audiences, it has a really strong cult following. The movie didn't make its money back, though, but I don't think that's entirely the film's fault. The distribution company for Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, it went out of business literally the day before the movie was released. So it ended up getting dropped down from like 2,500 theaters down to, I think, only about 500 theaters, and that obviously really hurt it. Elvira, or I guess Cassandra Peterson, was also nominated for a Razzie Award for this movie, and thankfully, I guess, had a pretty good sense of humor about it. She lost to Liza Minnelli and joked that she couldn't even win a Razzie. But don't let the Razzie deter you. Don't let the box office performance deter you. Like, we're not watching this movie because we're watching high art. We are watching this movie because it's fun and it's spooky and it has this character that we love, and it's just a really good time. So don't forget to comment those favorite Elvira one-liners below. Also, don't forget that if you join the Lemley family with a paid YouTube membership or on Patreon, you get tons of bonus podcasts and videos. I just uploaded my Douglas Fairbanks tour of LA. There's a ton of great stuff up there. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Antonia Carlotta. And as Elvira would say,
unpleasant dreams.